Ambassador, let me switch gears, ask you about the UN Security Council. They're expecting a briefing today on the upcoming summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. South Korea says it has not yet received a response from North Korea on their talks with the United States. Is this meeting just another ploy by North Korea? What's your take on this upcoming meeting?
Well, I do think the pressures have he's got to choose at some point or another between economic development and advancement on the one hand or having nuclear weaponry on the other hand. And I think as Kim Jong-un gets more secure in his position domestically, maybe he is willing to hold some kind of international talks. I think this is an interesting initiative. Whatever happens, it's going to take time. This is not a process that's going to happen overnight. That's the first point. And the second point is that it's much harder than the situation vis-a-vis Iran, because North Korea already has nuclear weapons. So the challenge, it's going to be quite a challenge if we ever get down to talks. And lastly, I guess the only thing I think we can reasonably expect from a Trump-Kim Jong-un meeting would be to set a direction, an agenda for you, if you will, for a set of talks that would then go on, frankly, for a long period of time.
China doesn't want to be marginalized in all of this. South Korean officials are set to meet with Chinese leader Xi Jinping today ahead of the president's summit, or apparent summit, with Kim Jong-un. Former U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations John Bolton was with me yesterday, and he said that it's time for China to step up. Listen to this, sir.
China's jived us for 25 years. They've said repeatedly they don't want North Korea with nuclear weapons, and they've done precious little to change that. It's time to tell China, when we say we want denuclearization, we mean we want it now.
Your thoughts, Ambassador?
Well, that's like saying we have some desire about Mexican behavior, and another country tells us, well, you go make Mexico do that. These things aren't necessarily that easy. I've talked to the Chinese a lot about these questions when I was in government, and they say sometimes you exaggerate the influence we have down there. We do talk to them. We do try to influence them, but they're not exactly the easiest customers. They're difficult clients, the North Koreans, and I'm sure the Chinese have some difficulties. Maybe they can do more. And
China is only going to get more difficult, given the fact that now its leader it doesn't have term limits. He's there forever, for as long as he can do it.
Well, whatever, that's true. But China is definitely a key player on the North Korea question. We had these six-party talks, which they hosted a number of years back. China, ourselves, Russia, Japan, and the two Koreas. And that may be one outcome of a meeting between Mr. Trump and Kim Jong-un, would be some revival of that negotiating format.
Has the president's tough talk worked here? Do you think that's one of the reasons that they've come to the table? Or should we not even believe the North?
Well, I really think we have to wait and see. I think the tough talk could have been an element, this talk about the possibility of war and so forth. But secondly, I think he may also be contemplating the situation in his own country and taking a look around and seeing how much other countries are enjoying economic prosperity and saying, well, maybe we want a bit of that.
Wow. Ambassador, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Ambassador John Negroponte there.